Ready Player One?
Ready Player One?
Okay, who here has read Ready Player One? Anybody read Ready Player One? Okay.
So it's gonna be on you.
It's all you, man.
Okay.
It sounds interesting.
But okay,
no.
but this is one thing that I'm going to ask you next, though. What if you've seen Ghostbusters, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You've played Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you've seen Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you've watched every iconic Spielberg movie in the 80s and 90s, right?
Yeah.
Okay, imagine all those mashed up into one book. All those things, all those iconic things, and done right, not like the Pixel movie.
Oh God.
Okay, so the base. Okay, put it on top. Okay, this guy, the main character, his icon, his avatar exactly. I don't remember exactly what his avatar looks like, but his car is the DeLorean. He drives around in the multiverse, and it has the Ghostbuster logo on the side.
No way.
He's a badass. So so the basics of the storyline for Ready Player One. Anybody who hasn't read this book, you need to go out tomorrow and get this book. I'm sure you can find a deal somewhere at a used bookstore or something. I don't care where. Get the audiobook. If I would recommend the actual audiobook because I read the physical copy and I also listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook's done by Will Wheaton and he did a great job. So it's an absolute amazing read.
Why does he keep doing that?
I'm doing it on purpose.
So that's the logo for the, what do you call it, the poster? Ready Player One, the movie poster. And the top one's a concept art, possibly one of the posters. So, and then if Bazinga goes into Slack, we have a short video you can play while I'm talking about the show of the movie set. So I'll give you a background of what happens at the beginning because I'm not going to spoil anything because it is a really cool plot. So this guy, Holiday, he's a video game designer. And he dies. Okay? He is a billionaire. Okay? This guy's really, really rich. But he loves video games and his whole life is spent making video games. And he spent years and years and a lot of resources and most of his fortune making this online game called Oasis. So Oasis became so big. It's one of the biggest massive multi-online games ever made. It's just huge. Okay? We're talking about like way bigger than we can even conceive of as a universe. And people spend most of their day in this. It got so big, this game, that it basically schools started using it, companies started using it for meetings. Most schools, people don't go to school anymore because America is pretty much in a slump in the storyline in 2044. So America is not doing that well. Most people are living in poverty. Physical schools don't exist anymore. And people go to school online in a virtual school. So in the morning, instead of getting up to school, you have your breakfast, you put on your VR headset, and then you walk into class. So, and that's what the world has turned into because this guy made such a great virtual world.
A VR headset.
It just sounds like an episode of Black Mirrors.
So then this guy, the fact that this guy Holiday died after he made this. He didn't die, he died years after he made this, after he became big. But he left a note when he died, kind of like in his will, saying, I left an Easter egg in this giant world that you couldn't even imagine searching through. An Easter egg. If you can find this Easter egg, whoever finds it has access to my entire fortune and my company.
How familiar are you with anime?
Pretty good. Get to that in a minute. Let me get to the...
Well, no, it has to do with the storyline. It almost sounds like Sword Art Online. You ever seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Where their lives are... They have normal lives and then they go into a virtual world for somebody else, but that virtual world is so big, so massive.
Yeah, that's kind of like that. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, when did Sword Art come?
Oh, this is out for a couple years.
Well, no, I'm wondering because I'm not sure if Ready Player One was written first.
Oh, I don't know which one was written first, but it just kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, it's the same concept.
Yeah.
So the fact that after this guy, so this Easter egg, so there's a leaderboard that was placed, right, for people that got closer and found clues, and your name gets put on this huge leaderboard. Anybody can look online to see who's close to the possible Easter egg. And people spend years and years, and after a long time, people eventually give up. Okay, there's only so many people that actually are still doing this. But the main kid, Percival, which is Wade, that's his real name. Percival is his name online. wants to find this thing. So he's been looking for it. Every time he gets online, he tries to look for it. He stays up late looking for this thing. And he gets some clues, and he gets kind of closer. And this is where the storyline takes off in the beginning. And he's just a kid living in the slums, or what they call the stacks. It's not called the slums in 2040. The reason why it's called the stacks is because imagine if you took a bunch of like double wide trailers and stacked them on each other, and then put ladders to each one. That's why they call them the stacks. So that's where the slums are in the future. And it's neat because then most of the book takes place in the video game. So he's searching for this Easter egg, but you have so many iconic things like Pac-Man, you have obviously Ghostbusters, you have anything from the 80s or 90s that ever existed in any kind of iconic element as far
Wreck-It
as like
Ralph.
yeah, Star Wars, from anything basically Lucasfilms did to Spielberg did to pretty much anything that was really iconic during the time is in this book.
It's gonna be a crazy movie.
Yeah.
To be able to
I'd
make that happen.
Which is
Be
why they
something
got
I'd like to see.
Yeah, which is why they got Spielberg to direct this, because they would have the rights already to put a lot of stuff in.
Oh.
Because most of the stuff in the book is from his movies.
All right.
So that's obviously why they got him on board. So this movie is going to be the way Pixel should have been. When I was excited when I first saw Pixel.
Without Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I was like cool, because I just got done listening to the audiobook version of this when Pixel came out. And I was like, oh, cool, this could be kind of like it. And they butchered the idea. And I was like, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. Like, they just killed this idea.
Yep.
This movie is going to do it right, and it's going to be amazing. Like, there's a whole section of, like, he goes into, like, old Atari games and plays them virtually in the book, which is really cool. So
I want a VR headset.
so there's a lot of cool moments, and I can't give too many more of the storyline away, but the storyline also plays out like an 80s, like kind of like Stranger Things.
Stranger
Yeah, how
Things.
there's like a big corporation and the whole 80s kind of thing. That's how the book plays out.
Okay.
So it plays out like a classic 80s, like, what do you call it, young kid, like, oh, he's trying to just become like, or find something, like the wizard and stuff like that. Like all these movies.
Yeah.
It takes that from that same kind of plot, which is
That's
really
cool.
cool. So this movie, I think, is going to do really well once it comes out in 2018. And it's already done shooting, but they have a lot of post-production.
Post processing.
Because it's mostly done in front of a green screen.
It's a lot of rendering. Oh, a lot of rendering.
So, yeah. I mean, we saw just even with the Nerd movie. It was done shooting not that long after they started, and then he spent months and months of just post-editing from the green screen. Like, it took forever
Oh,
for that, because it's a lot of work.
yeah, and it was
Just
a good
him.
movie.
And
It was okay.
It was him and Mike, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
And a couple of people, yeah.
that must have been a relief when they were done. Huh?
Oh, yeah, I bet. Oh, okay.
So, yeah, let us know if.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, let us know
I'd
if
like to
you
read the
guys
book.
are excited for this movie. I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.